pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Steve Carter. Michael George.
Here.
Greg Gordon.
Here.
Susan Snyder.
Here.
Steve Bartle.
Here.
Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the approval of last month's meeting
Make a
minutes?
motion, we approve last month's minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
It's the chair.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Chairman. Greetings, staff, board members, and citizens of Sunrise Beach. A quick update on some of our activities since last month. The Safe City program has not really taken off. We've had 4 people volunteer from the outside the city limits. The objective was to make our city more pleasing to passing visitors. This objective comes with many challenges. We do not want to force anyone to clean up or organize their business properties or home places. This was not the intent. We will put this program on hold for now. Perhaps we can find other incentives to have our businesses and homeowners to feel the pride of our little village. Elections are next month on April 7th. Please vote. There is an effort in Jefferson City to make us go to November voting. That will not be good for small communities. Our new zoning officer, Chief Craig, will be handling building and zoning permits in our jurisdiction. We're going to enforce our zoning codes. We know the village is in prime shape for growth. We need to control that growth to our standards. We will be strict on home sizes, setbacks, and buildings not allowed in certain zones. This is what the people have asked us to do. I do want to mention that we will be enforcing the ordinance on damage to city utilities. It is a Missouri statute that allows cities to issue violations on anyone damaging, changing, moving, or obstructing city utilities, including water meters, wastewater lift stations, or any of the parts within. Do not tamper with the utilities. Please call City Hall if you need someone to look at the city's utilities. Beginning in April, our meetings will move to Wednesdays. The first meeting will be April 8th at 5 p.m. During the summer months, we believe this will make meetings better for the board, the staff, and people who want to attend. As always, call or email any questions or comments to the board. Okay, we'll go right into department reports. The police report, did everybody have a chance to take a look at it?
Yes. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, the only thing I'd really point out is statistical wise, looking at is our calls for service versus last year's almost double. We went from 65 calls for service in the month of February last year to this last month we had 100.
What's that based on? I mean, what kind of calls, like speeding or?
No, those are calls, those are dispatched calls for service. Those are
Somebody's beating
somebody's having a problem, calls the
gosh.
police department, says, I need your help, please take care of this. Something the officer has to act on.
Okay.
The speeding and stuff like that, that falls into self-initiated activities. And last year we had 850 self-initiated activities. This year we had 1,362 citations. We kept those around the same, 32 versus 40.
I was shocked the number of miles you guys put. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
But you just
Really
didn't seem
not
like
good
what you
news.
guys do.
have that many more
Largest
calls.
cities like the other.
More population, more calls.
5.75 square miles. We're bigger than-
I think we're growing and we don't really see it. So. Okay, and our zoning official also gave us a report. Does anyone have any questions about that? And trust me, this has been a lot of work. We do have our zoning codes at the attorney as we speak. So thankfully, we will have the new codes ready to go and ready to enforce. So lots of new things coming up this year. I think we're gonna have a lot of growth this year.
I just in the last couple of weeks, the amount of people that have called and asked for how to do lot splits and absorbs and create new subdivisions. I've had probably 8 to 12 in the last week and a half.
That's a
They're
lot.
Planning on.
Wow.
Nothing filed yet, but
Mhm.
it's testing.
But they're asking. And he's already been working on building permits, making sure that they fit the need, and eventually we'll move into doing the permits ourselves. Anything? Okay. Public Works, Caitlin, give us a report, and
We have calculated water loss. It's 33%. So you're losing 33% of the water we're producing that we are not billing for. It can be leaks, it can be lost meter usage, acceptable water loss for GNR standards is 10%. So that's the goal we'll work towards. They don't expect you to be perfect. MRWA was down today and found what we think is a pretty significant leak. I think Troy was saying,
I can ask you.
hopefully,
We have a leak somewhere over by Como.
yes.
Now, again, it's no more different than the one that was at the police department. But you don't see it flowing out of hillside anywhere. So to actually say how big it is, we don't know yet.
We know there's a leak there. So the plan is they're gonna call in locates. We have to work around the weather, obviously, it's gonna be safe when we're doing this. We're gonna do some exploratory potholing and see if we can force the water to surface to tell us the direction to go to find it. But they did do some testing of chlorine in some water that they found standing, and it tested, there was chlorine in it, so we definitely know it's a drinking water leak. We just don't know exactly where. The problem with this situation also is there's a 90 on one side of the road and a 90 on the other, and it's bored under Highway 5. So we're gonna be very careful, and we're gonna do this correctly. And it's in the boys' hands for now. They've got the equipment and the knowledge on how to do it, and I'm stepping out of that end of things for now. But 30%, 33% water loss overall. The goal moving forward is to eventually be able to split the system and say, this is the water loss on tower 1, this is the water loss on tower 2, to help us identify even further leaks and things like that. Operationally speaking, things are smooth. They're clicking right along, and I've not really had to deal much with that. Let's see, leak detection I just touched on. If we do need MRWA to come back, I've already scheduled a day for him to come back in a couple of weeks to see where we stand on that leak, or just to keep helping us find another one if we have the need. On the metering, so we have, and actually my report is incorrect as of this morning, we have 3 more lost meters, so to speak, that are floating out there that we haven't been able to tie to an account in the billing system. That being said, I think we have located one of them even as of today, so we'll keep working on that. All the meters in the system have been repaired to read with the exception of 2. There's an irrigation meter at Woods that they are not using water, it's not active. I don't see the reason to repair it if there's no need as of this moment. The other one is at Doctor's Landscaping, same story. They're not using it. Andy reports it's buried under some concrete actually. So we're just gonna let those hang out for a while. There's no need to really dig much deeper into those. We did receive the meter in for the RV park. I just haven't gotten it here yet. It came in Friday. So all of that to say, I'm very proud of Dahlia. She successfully read meters on her own in February, and I was very, very nervous, and apparently it went quite smoothly. So hopefully moving forward, we can keep up with that. So now that we found all these lost meters, now they're in the billing system, and we're working on finding the responsible parties to actually collect monies for. That being said, we We've already had a few of them pay, so people are not fighting us on that, which is wonderful. We are going to update the billing software sometime over the next week. It should be pretty seamless, other than how people pay online will change, so there'll be a lot of phone calls for that. Other than that, we're just clicking right along.
We should see an increase in income in the water billing system, so.
One of the lost meters alone is using about $200 to $300 worth of water a month. So, and we're billing for that one actively. I have had to work with Scott a little bit to figure out how you guys can pursue tampering with the water system. So we've got a plan in place for that. So if somebody decides they want to be nasty and cut the lock off of their meter, we're gonna know, and they're gonna have a visit.
It's unacceptable, and we do need to start writing tickets for it.
What does 33% equate to?
You would ask me that number. I can't remember your total. It's a pretty significant amount.
I'm running right at about 90,000 gallons per day, so just times that time.
Yeah, so you're losing about 30,000 gallons.
So 30,000 gallons a day.
But there's a little bit more that'll go on to that.
Yeah,
We'll
and
explain here in a minute.
when you talk about water loss, things that figure into that is, say the fire department doesn't report usage on a hydrant, then that shows up as loss because it's not something that I've metered and accounted for. So that's why all of this effort to get all these lost meters out there into the billing system, so that even if I'm not collecting monies on them, I know if they start using water, so we don't affect that number, so that we truly know, is it a leak or is it just somebody turned on a hydrant or didn't turn off a hydrant, or which has been, they found a couple like that. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a vague number, so you try to eliminate all the variables and then you can get down to the real business. So.
Slow but sure. That's good progress as far as I'm concerned. Andy, got going.
Caught most of fair chunk of what I'm talking about now, like over there at Como, and the removal of that lift station and that meter over on Camden Pass. I would prefer to wait until things dry out a little bit, because as muddy as things are, I mean, unless I'm afraid that if you start tearing into it, people are gonna start complaining, because I ain't gonna be able to put it back very nicely.
Camden Pass, is that the one with the garage?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So, and we already know, yeah, I'm sure you can figure out where I'm going with it. So I don't want to get into a big contest when we take it out. Now it's all messy, there's clay all over. So we gotta kind of watch on what we do. Same thing over here. You know, big storms come in, it gets real messy, you're gonna be making a gigantic mess. If it ain't on Como's side and it's on the other side, they just got done redoing all that. So I don't want to stir up a hornet's nest on being mulling around in mud and gook and everything else and making a bad look.
I just want to make sure we keep track of it, because that's how we ended up losing so many meters to begin with, is because, you know, somebody would say, I don't want the service anymore. Nobody would go out and get it. Next thing you know, 2 years later, we're trying to find the meter. So that's the only reason it keeps coming up with me.
It's not common to pull a meter, because traditionally you would just leave the meter until they want to reestablish service. But with that situation, he doesn't want to continue service there, and it's been agreed upon to completely remove the meter.
I think it's a mistake, and we probably should have just turned it off, but then he said, no, just take it out. And we're like, okay.
Which, I mean, he had talked about selling half that property. I'm with you. Why not leave it in? What happens if the new property owner wants it? You just save them thousands of dollars. So
Do we have the meter number accounted for? Okay.
Yeah.
So that was my big worry, is we don't want any more lost meters.
It's not
Now that we're finding them.
Yeah, it's not a lot of fun, and we're monitoring it. So what she does in the billing system is if for some reason, which it's it has to be an extenuating circumstance for somebody to not be paying for available water, whether they use it or not, they need to be paying that base rate because it's available to them. That's the agreement they made between themselves and the city. That being said, some of these ones that were lost, that were a past agreement, however they rolled around, she has a special rate code that says we have an account for them, but we're not actively charging them, so we still monitor the water, we just don't initiate a bill on it. It's a similar thing to what we do for like City Hall or the wastewater facilities where I do have water there.
Okay. Okay.
Which like for Caitlin, one of the meters is at dock. Now, the thing is, it's not attached. It's separated off. What ended up happening is before we could get back the next day and pull the meter, they poured concrete all over it. And it was buried. And so you have a meter out there trying to read. It's not gonna ever flow any water because there's no water line attached to it. But that meter is gonna keep trying to talk to her until eventually it dies. But they encased it in concrete wall. They built their offices and everything else over it. So that meter will sit out there trying to read until the battery finally dies.
I'd like to know who the concrete guy was that said, "Oh, a meter." Just go over it.
Billing for the meter?
Hmm?
Are we billing them for the meter?
We never did.
No, but
Why not?
it reads every time you go by, even though they're not using it.
Why would we charge them for destruction of our property?
Oh,
The cost of
when did
housing?
it happen?
Well, that's the thing is it was
But
before.
3 years ago, I don't know if I can go back there. And I was relatively new at the time and we were still fighting sewer at the time. So
Yeah.
it did kind of get passed along, but they were supposed to wait until I got back. Well, when I got back, concrete's all, where's my meter? You didn't get it. It's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But they're not, I had already detached them off the water. So there is no water. It's got a curb stop on the end. And I hope to get that pulled out because that's gonna be our water source for me and Troy out there in town too. We don't have any hydrants or anything, so.
Is the water line to that property?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take their water line. Bring it around the corner, and hook it up for us.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Then you also, just so that you know, real quick, everybody asked about mapping, found out a whole bunch of what this mapping can do. To the point of, you really need to redo it completely because you can go multiple layers. You can set up like your hydrants when you gotta go out and check your hydrant. You can put alarms in this mapping that will turn around and tell us when we have to do these, work these fire hydrants and stuff like that. And if you don't, it'll alarm you and let you know, hey, you need to turn around. You can do so much with this thing, unreal. Of course, we didn't know at the time. We just thought, okay, you just do these. So there's going to be some revamping on that, and that's going to be really super nice for the city. I mean, if you just want to look at hydrants, you can look at hydrants. If you just want to look at water, you can look at water. Real quick, we do have a sewer error relief valve that is not working. That needs to be replaced. We also have a bypass valve that is sitting down at Captain Ron. If you've ever looked past the south plant, you'll see this big concrete vault sitting up there. The bypass in it never got shut down. Now it won't shut down. So don't know what's all entailed in that. That's on our list to get that done as well. As you can see, there's quite a few things out there. Now, as far as like, I guess you know, they were wondering how much of the city did we go check for water leaks. I think they went to 5 places in Como. That's just one day. That's it. I mean, you're looking at a month and a half. You really want to go through this. So just when it comes to stuff like that. Potholes, I haven't done a whole lot with. I've done a little bit. But I went over there on Beechwood, I put some on there. That was $120. That was 500 pounds. $120. So we'll buy them 2 ton at the plant. So I'm trying to be real sparing on the money and waiting for that plant to fire back up and start doing it that way. As far as doing any what we call blade patches, like what you see on there, don't know how I'm going to be able to do that. I can't do a length. I don't have the people to do it. The only other way I can do it is to close down the whole street. Yeah, we know that. So, I mean, it's just things to think about when you're talking about me going out and doing any blade patching. Like I say, there's no way for me to do a legit lane closure. Because you have to have 2 flaggers, well, I mean, I'm flagging, nobody's running equipment, we're running equipment, there's no way. So just keep that in mind when you if you start thinking, I need to start doing some blade patching. This is all stuff that isn't here yet, but it's in the near future. Mowing, I'm gonna talk to Eddie, a friend of mine, and see if I can get us a true deck mower to use as well, because we need to go through all our main lines and start mowing them out so that we can finish finding all our valves and everything. So that's kind of where we're at, kind of at the mercy of Mother Nature right now. She's wanting to keep everything pretty wet and nasty. I'm gonna try and get most of the digging done after it dries out a little bit, just to keep the residents calm. They get a little bit excited when they start seeing mud slung up onto your roads and stuff like that. So, if anybody else has got any questions for me?
Nope. Okay. Aaron has provided us with the 6-month, the semi-annual financial statement, July to December of 25. So this is something that has to be published in the newspaper. It looks a little different because she did it with the QuickBooks numbers. And I've actually gone through the whole thing and it looks pretty good. And there's a lot of things that are not spelled out exactly like I'd wish them to be. Like on personnel, if you were not aware of it, you would add up these personnels and say, holy moly, they pay a lot for personnel. That includes all of the benefits and the retirement and everything. So even though it looks a little high, and the transfer ins and outs, that really doesn't need to be listed on here as long as the numbers are shown on there. So we'll clean it up a little bit by the time we get to the next, the next one will be the budget for January to July. So anyway, browse through that at your leisure. Okay, resolution, any visitors' comments? Mr. Visitor? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, we have a resolution here, allowing the chairman to enter into agreement with a grant advisor for Beechwood paving project. What this is, we applied for a CBDG grant to pave Beechwood. We received the grant. Yay. They are going to pay for it. I think out of the 600 and some thousand, we're going to pay about 100,000. So that's to pave all of Beechwood. In that grant, we did not apply for a grant administrator, which is the person who has to go get all the environmental reports and all the things you got to do for a government grant. Okay. I don't know how to do that. And no one here does. So we have to hire a grant administrator. Now, to add to this, I called CBDG and said, can we still ask for the money to pay for a grant administrator? So they sent me a bunch of paperwork to fill out to amend our grant, and we got it. So we now have the money to pay the grant administrator. So that's the good news for the night.
Very good.
I did something right. So that's what this resolution says. It says allows us, we've only received 3 applications and they have to be scored according to how CBDG wants them scored, which will happen. We've got 2 locals and 1 that's not from this area. So we'll score those. When Aaron gets back, we'll sit down and go through them and score them the way we're supposed to, and we'll choose somebody who will work on that. However, Cochran, who is going to be the contractor paving Beechwood, tells me he's not even gonna start paving till like spring. I said, you mean now? No, he means next year. He said by the time they get all of their initial engineering stuff done, it'll be fall and the leaves will be falling and they don't want to pour asphalt during the fall. And then the asphalt plants close in the winter. So he's thinking they're not going to be paving until the spring of 27. That's our government at work. So that's what this vote is for. Can I have a motion to approve that resolution?
Make a motion that we approve the resolution to enter into agreement with the grant administrator and the paving project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Old business, I don't believe we have any. Any discussion on any of the other things that we talked about? We had to appoint a board of adjustments, and we have found 5 gracious volunteers that have decided to be on our board of adjustment. We have our first case for using a board of adjustment. So this is why it says chairman of the board appoints board of adjustment for planning and zoning. I have to ask your permission to pick these 5 people to be on the board of adjustment. We didn't think, actually, we did ask, it does not have to be a resolution. We just have to get a vote from the, we have to get your approval for me to pick 5 people to be on the board of adjustment. They will come in, take an oath, and then they will be here for the board of adjustment meeting, which will be public. So it'll be held here at April 1st, correct?
It's preliminary.
And for anyone who doesn't understand what Board of Adjustment is, someone is appealing the decision by the zoning officer about the codes that we are enforcing. Questions? Greg, you look confused.
No, so the Board of Adjustments is just, an appeals process. They don't like what they get.
Yes.
And then they make the final say.
They make a say, and then if they don't like what the Board of Adjustment says, the only recourse is to appeal to the circuit court. So it's an option for them to appeal municipally before.
Okay. Yeah, no problem with it.
Good with it?
Yeah.
Five beautiful volunteers that decided to do this for us. As you know, it's hard to get volunteers around here, so we do have 5. Let's hurry up and have the meeting before they change the name. Anyway, so, can we have a motion
Make a
to,
motion
that we appoint 5
appoint
people?
5 people.
Okay.
Volunteers
Mm-hmm.
to the board of adjustment.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Sometimes I gonna be on the first.
We don't know. It's even the date is tentative. We have to talk to the board and talk to the attorney and make sure everybody's in.
You don't even have anything to adjust it.
No, we do have an appeal.
You do. Right?
Yeah.
And you're welcome to ask Scott about that. I don't know that this would be the format to go into that right now anyway, because that's the planning and zoning thing. So, one-time forgiveness for a person on Hawk Lake, Robert Jensen. She apparently had a hose running and didn't know it. I guess
My
grandkid.
neighbor turned around and saw that she had a spigot outside of her house on, and realized that it was running, and she's pretty elderly. I
Yeah.
don't leave the house very often, but the neighbor said, hey, let her know, and that's.
And so her bill is $619.50, and she'd like to have a one-time forgiveness.
Is that like 6 days of running?
She used
Probably. How much?
63,000.
There's your loss. So, do we want to give her a one-time hardship?
She, if I can comment, she did come in, and spoke with me.
Mhm.
She did have, and she had visitors coming to visit her, her grandkids were outside, and she didn't know if they'd been, she had other things on her mind at the moment.
Right.
With the track record, I don't know how you're saying that to it. Yeah,
I agree.
I agree.
Okay, so all in favor? Aye.
We have tracking all of these one time.
Yes, Dahlia Trexos.
I did.
The bills to be paid, which, we have 3 of those here.
I make a motion to pay our bills.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. And do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Pretty much says it.